Hi everyone, this is Char, and in this video, I'm gonna do a review of Julia. So Julia, for the longest time, has been the best range hero in the game. Nowadays, she's starting to lose a little bit of that spotlight, even though she's still really good. And the reason is her damage is just not as strong as the newer heroes, but she will never go obsolete because of her awakened skill. Funny enough, when I first started playing this game, I was actually infantry main, but I think it was written in the stars because within my first week of playing this game, I went to Lucky Roulette and I got lucky, and using two free rolls I got 20x Julia fragments, which I think was telling me that, hey dude, your career in this game is going to be in range, not in infantry. And I'm so glad I did switch to range and become a range main, and I do enjoy being a range player, even though the journey to becoming a useful range player is a long time, at least 8 months before you start feeling useful if you are not somebody that is a whale. With that being said, let's take a look at her skills. Her first skill, as you can see here, it's already been awakened, so I want to look at this one. Actually, it's called Stunning Magic, and Miracle of the Century is going to be the awakened skill. So before it's been awakened, the damage factor is 12,500 and restores 100 rage to own squad. But after awakening, the damage dealt is going to be 13,750, which is a lot back in the days, but right now it's still really good, and silences the enemy for 3 seconds. So the silence part is why she would never go obsolete, because if you're doing a triple rally in Archipelago Raid, for example, then that silence is still going to be useful for debuffing the garrison. Also restores 120 rage to its own squad, making Julia a very good rage regenerator range hero as well. Her second skill is called Escape Preparation, which is a passive skill that increases range squad attack by up to 20% and increases range squad defense by up to 20%. So overall, a decent passive skill, although nowadays with the newer heroes, this is not as good as they are, but it's still pretty respectable. Her third skill is called Mind Reading, which is a passive skill that reduces damage taken from basic attacks by 20%. So this one is actually good to counter Chasey or Felix or any other hero that is basic damage base. When rage is more than 90%, increases skill damage dealt by 17% for 4 seconds. So this is why she is so good with Bard, because she is also going to increase the skill damage of Bard. That's why Julia and Bard are a match made in heaven. Her fourth skill is called Impenetrable, which is a passive skill that increases range squad HP by up to 40%. There is also a 60% chance of being immune to taking increased damage afterwards. So this is really good because HP is one of the most important, if not the most important attribute to get in the game, because it's so rare to actually get the HP attribute. So the fact that Julia has this makes her extra tanky, and also why Julia will always have a place in the field or in rally specifically. As mentioned earlier, her best partner is hands down going to be Bard in the purpose of doing rally. However, she's also good in the field, and I oftentimes pair her up with Lynn actually, just because I tend to get swarmed by my opponents, because when they see Julia, they think, let's swarm this person because she's annoying. She's going to silence you. So let's get rid of her ASAP. So I tend to pair her up with Lynn, who makes her tanky because of her increased counter damage. So I get kills actually from Lynn's counter damage when they try to swarm my Julia. Also stacks with range HP here, which is really good. Also stacks with a range attack and range squad defense. So Julia and Lynn are really good in the field specifically. Julia is also amazing with Lewis. Back in the days, Lewis and Julia were the best partners when it comes to range rallies. Nowadays, I think perhaps Ethan might be better with Julia for a second option for rally. But I think Julia and Lewis are still really good for certain things such as Antipede or in the arena, where you just need to be unloading Julia's skill damage at the enemy. A lot of people are now using Julia as well with Sophie, and the reason why is because Sophie's first skill only requires 900 rage. So Julia and Sophie together, with Sophie being the leader, is actually a really good combination as well. In regards to the talent tree, this is how I set up her talent tree. So I have a huge focus on skill damage dealt, because Julia is a skill damage based hero, and I've also maxed out the Predator's rage here on the right hand side just to increase the amount of rage I'm getting. So overall, I don't think Julia is going anywhere. She's still going to be one of the best range heroes in the game. The fact that she has silence, and it's 100% guaranteed silence, not like that loser Chun, which I'll talk about later, makes her a very important debuffing hero on top of being a strong, powerful, tanky range hero. That's about it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.